What's up, everybody? It's John here with another, this is more of a mini episode of The Loft. I'm flying solo at the moment. This is actually, excluding the pilot episode of The Loft, this is actually my first time doing an episode of anything solo. I don't really think I've got the talking chops to do it, but I'm going to try it out. Plus, being as I'm the only consistent part of this segment, it allows me to do things a bit more frequently. So you might hear from me a little bit more frequently, but I digress. I want to talk about Mondegreens because I just ran into one today. I don't know if you're familiar with the phrase Mondegreen, but it's what you call a mistaken song lyric. I don't remember the specific song that coined it. But very famous Mondegreens from the past would be, like, for instance, from Jimmy Hayes' Purple Haze, where he says, "Excuse me while I kiss the sky." Many people thought he said, "Excuse me while I kiss this guy." Or in Elton John's Tiny Dancer, a lot of people thought he said, "Hold me close, young Tony Danza." So that's your for instance, okay? I just had a Mondegreen experience today, though. When I was doing some background work, talking to some of the other Geek Devotion peoples. We have a side chat that we have on Facebook where we discuss things that we're working on with each other. And one of the things we're working on is we're putting together a Geek Devotions Music Festival, so look forward to hearing about that in the future. Lots of big names going to be on that festival, both Christian and secular alike. But I digress. We were talking music festivals, and I was looking at bands and listening to some Queens of the Stone Age, considering them to be a part of the festival. I was listening to their song Autopilot off of their R album, and just kind of grooving along to it. Now this album has been out since I think 2000 or 2001, somewhere around there, so this song has been out for a while, and it only struck me today that on this track during the chorus, what he keeps saying is, "High up in the sky." No, high up in the jet plane. Now, how does this go? Sorry, people, I'm usually a bit more prepared, but I thought I would remember this and wouldn't need the lyrics immediately in front of me. High up in a jet plane with you. That's right. And I thought he had been saying, "I have been a jet plane with you." So I'm like, wow, okay. Now to think about it, what I had thought he was saying was pretty stupid. So, yeah, Mondegreens. My sister had one for the old Sheryl Crow song, my favorite mistake, where she says the words, "You're my favorite ending to my bad day." What she had thought Sheryl Crow was saying was, "You're the perfect ending to the Bat Cave." You ever notice that when you have these Mondegreens or these mistaken song lyrics, like, they make no sense. Like, what does it mean to be a jet plane with somebody? Like with the one I was just talking about, "I have been a jet plane with you." It's always just so weird. And you don't think through it. You don't think through it at all. You have them when you're little kids, that makes sense because you don't have life experience to understand. You're singing songs like Skidamarinky Dinky Dink, so continuity of thought isn't necessarily required for your song experience when you're like, what? Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, right? You got that We Sing. You're rocking the We Sing tapes or CDs or whatever kids are doing these days. I'm a product of the 80s, so I can, you want to talk salty, that's a thing we can do, but I don't have kids. Anyway, so, little kids not getting it. Like my wife, when she was young, she thought Prince in I Would Die For You, that song, I Would Die For You, was like, "I would die for you. darling, if you want me to, you. Right? Like that bit right there, right? What she thought he was saying was apple, dapple, you. So, as a kid, that makes sense because her life experience hadn't gone to having that type of affectionate love, like I would die for you, you know? So it's just like apple, dapple, you. Darling, if you want me to, you. So, yeah, good times. Good times. So Mondegreens are fun. What are some other good ones that I've heard? There's some that I can't share, just because of context. Not because they're inappropriate, but you just wouldn't appreciate it if you weren't there. Growing up, I had a friend named, we'll call him Johnny. And Johnny's mom, we all of us who were friends with Johnny, we would all tease Johnny's mom. Johnny about his mom, rather, because she didn't think things through all the time. She kind of had a reputation amongst us teenagers of not being the brightest mom of the pack of moms, so we would kind of give him a little bit of grief about that. So anyway, it came to our attention at one point, and this was when Kirk Franklin was getting big in the 90s with God's Property and their song Stomp. And there's a breakdown where they're like, GP, are you with me? And they're like, oh, yeah, we got the church beat going, oh, yeah. And I guess Johnny had told us, he's like, man, my mom, he's like, I don't understand, like, how this is a Christian song. It's so inappropriate. And he's like, Mom, what are you talking about? He's like, and she's all like, he's all saying, PP out your window. And we're like, dude. So, this is Johnny's mom, if you're out there listening to this, which I doubt you are. But should it be a thing, God bless you, lady. I've had many a laugh at your expense. Not to be cruel, but just in the good humor of misheard song lyrics. But I think my favorite Mondegreen story, and this will be the last one I give you guys before I let go, because this is just going to be a mini episode, would be one I had growing up. One of the last few family trips that we had with my family when I was a teenager before my parents separated. We went on a big road trip in our motorhome across the U.S. and spent a lot of time in Yellowstone Park and campsites around those areas, seeing the wildlife and hanging out with the buffalo. And I was taking a shower in the motorhome, and those things aren't very sound insulated, okay, so everybody can hear everything that's going on. I had my Discman CD player and a pair of portable speakers with me hooked up, and I was listening to music while I was in the motorhome shower, and I was listening to the Huntingtons' Get Lost album, right? And the first track on that album is called No Pool Party Tonight. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Huntingtons, they tend to sing with a little bit more of a New York accent because they try to emulate the Ramones to a certain degree, and who wouldn't, for that matter. However, they're sitting there and they're just kind of bebopping along. I get outside the motorhome once I'm all fresh and clean, and my mom looks at me and she goes, I don't think that song was appropriate to be listening out loud, especially with your grandmother around. I said, what are you talking about, Mom? She goes, that song that you were listening to while you were in the shower. I'm like, what was wrong with it? Because I'm sitting here thinking, like, the Huntingtons are almost a wholesome band for the most part, And so I was like, it was that song talking about no poop on it tonight. I'm like, oh, jeez. Because the way he's singing it, he's saying no pool party tonight, but he's like sitting there singing, look, there's no pool party tonight. No pool party tonight. No pool party tonight. At the time, I was a participant of the Huntington's message board, because message boards were a thing in the 90s, and I shot that back there, and Mikey Huntington, their lead singer, had responded. He thought he got a kick out of that. I don't know if he would remember that, but that sure made 17-year-old me laugh pretty good. So anyway, I'm happy to have been able to share these life experiences with you. I hope they put a smile on your face. And do you have any Mondegreens? Do you have any mistaken song lyrics that you get a kick out of, or stories that revolve around mistaken song lyrics? If you do, email them in to geekdevotions@gmail.com, or shoot them to us at the socials. On Facebook, we have a Geek Devotions group, and we have a Geek Devotions Discord. And any links of anything you're interested in that I discussed or that I do, check the descriptions below. I'm sure that's a pretty nebulous statement, but Dallas will put whatever down there that's pertinent. So until next time, everybody, stay devoted. Peace and love.